Hi, and welcome to another Suddenly Comics video. Today, I'm actually not going to be talking about comics. I'm going to be talking about trading cards. And the reason I'm talking about trading cards is because in the last few months, some of the prices for trading cards have gone skyrocketing. I'm specifically today going to talk about the 1977 Star Wars cards. You can see one on my background there. It's card number 1 from the series, showing, as you can see, Luke Skywalker. And this is a screenshot I took off eBay with somebody selling a card here for $99,999. Well, I think this is just, to be honest, none of them have sold for anything like that. I think the current record for this card in a top condition is around $7,000, and the prices have gone up significantly recently. The other type of cards that have gone up have been Marvel trading cards. Both of these increases in both the Star Wars and the Marvel cards is largely down to the MCU and the Disney Plus channel. I also think that the other thing that's happening is there are a lot of 40-somethings, maybe early 50s, who were in their teenage years in 1970s, early 80s, and who, as teenagers, collected the Star Wars cards or the Marvel cards. And now in their late 40s, early 50s, they've returned to them. They've got a lot of spare cash. They're sitting at home with not a lot to do. And so they're investing in nostalgia. They're buying up the stuff that they collected as kids. So I'm going to talk a bit about as I said, I'm going to focus on the 1977 top Star Wars cards. These really are probably the first really successful set of trading cards. Certainly the first set, so this is non-sports I'm talking about, the first set based on science fiction movie characters. These cards were packed in wax wrappers, inside of which there was a piece of bubble gum and also a sticker, and then some cards. And these sold for, I think, 10 to 15 cents a pack. You open them up, you chewed the bubble gum, and you collected the stickers and the cards. The first series consists of 5 sets. This series is often known as the Rainbow Collection because the 5 sets have got different coloured backgrounds. So the first set, which is generally the most valuable set, you can see here, it's got a blue background. So you can see Luke there. He is actually card number 1, and he's the most expensive card. This card is pretty hard to find in good condition, largely because it is the first card. So when people put together their sets, this card would have been sitting on the top. And consequently, it's more liable to have got damaged. So each of the 5 sets consisted of 66 cards, meaning the set total was 330 cards. Each of the cards has got a photographic image from the first Star Wars film, or in case of some of the later cards, pictures of the production sets and some of the actors chatting to each other. So, how much do these cards go for? So, before it's actually, let me first of all talk about card grading, because as with comics, the condition of the card is all important. There are some key things you need to look at when you're thinking about card grading. The first is centering. So this is to do with how centered the picture is on the card. We're going back to 1977 here, before the time of computer-aided production techniques. So these cards would have been printed on a sheet and then cut with a guillotine that was probably set up by a human being. These cards were for bubblegum packs, so I suspect quality control was not particularly rigorous, and consequently a lot of the cards got cut and the picture was not centered. You can see a couple of examples here. You can have the centering off left to right, or you can have the centering off top to bottom. So to get a high grade card, you need the card to be pretty centered. The next most important thing is corners. As you can imagine, if you're using the cards, the corners can get damaged and blunted. You can see a corner here from a Luke Skywalker card I've got, and you can see the top left-hand corner is pretty ragged. I'm also going to show a picture. I can show you a picture of a card with a tight corner, which hasn't been damaged. Now, to get a card into high grade, you need all four of the corners really tight and undamaged. The next thing to look at is surface. The surface needs to be clean, no dints or dings. You can see here I've got a Obi-Wan Kenobi card, which looked pretty good initially, but then you can see the top left-hand corner, there is a surface dent, which will detract from the value of the card and its grading. So, and also then you need to look at, is the original gloss all there? How does the card look? And these are the things that are important in grading. There are a few companies that do official card grading, the number one of which is called PSA, and they largely came out of the American sports cards grading, which is huge in the States. And the top grade you can get is a 10, a gem mint 10. And then that will go all the way down 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the lower the grade, the lower the value of the card. So the card behind me being advertised is a 9, but you can find 10s. On the PSA sites, very useful. You can see on there the total population of graded cards, the same way as you can with CGC Comics. You can go onto the CGC site and find how many comics have been graded to which grade. You can do the same thing on the PSA site. Also on the PSA site, you can also find out the latest prices, the selling prices of cards. So you can see how much cards have been selling for recently and how much they've sold for historically. So you can see how much they've risen. And the recent sales in February 21 have increased astronomically. Cards that were selling a year or 2 years ago have nearly quadrupled in price. Another thing on these cards that is baffled me for a bit is if you look on the cards, you'll see against the trademark sign, there's either one little star or two little stars. So it took me a bit of research to find out what these were. They're actually printer's marks, and apparently the one star meant that the card was on the left-hand side of the plate, and the two stars meant it on the right-hand side of the plate. So most of the cards in the set, I think all but two, you can find either with a 1 star or 2 star next to the trademark. And this purely indicates where the card was on the plate. I think the two cards that don't have both types of stars, the story that I've unearthed is that the plate got damaged and therefore only one of the types was used. Okay, so I've been sort of trawling the internet for these things, and I bought 4 or 5 complete sets of the different colours, paying between £30 for a set and maximum £120 for a set. To be honest, I think this is a really good bargain. I'm not sure that the people who are selling these in the UK realise that the prices for these have gone up significantly. There is a bit for the blue set that I just bought on Sunday. It started at £30. I ended up getting it for £63, and there were 8 bidders. So other people are bidding for these. But you know, if you pay £63 for the 66 blue cards, let's say you end up with 7 or 8 cards which are pretty well centered and have got tight corners. One of those at current prices is going to pay for the entire set, and the rest of them effectively you've got for free and a straight up profit. There's not a huge amount of these available on the internet. It's about finding the right sellers. Also, one of the tricks is get one set from a seller and evaluate how good the cards are. And if the cards are really good, then buying future sets from the same seller is a good idea. I have found a seller who sent me in a set of yellow cards, series 3, and the corners were excellent. And I have now ordered another yellow set from the same seller and a blue set. On the other hand, I ordered a blue set from a different seller, and the quality of the corners was much, much poorer. Okay, I hope that's been of interest, and I will plan to do a video about Marvel trading cards later this week. Thank you and goodbye.